father had always loved fishing as a young bloke, and so he finished up going into league with one of the local fishermen, fished for a while with him, and then bought his own boat and began fishing in the sort of mid-40s and right through till the mid to late 60s. The first thing that you remember is that your dad gets up very early. He's up before dawn, and we used to sleep out at the back of the house, and so we would hear him go outside, and we had an apricot and a lemon tree there, so instead of going to the dunny down the back of the yard, he would look after the lemon tree. And obviously I've often thought about it that during that process he would be looking at the sky and listening to the wind and thinking about the tide and whether they would go out in the morning fishing, because when they all congregated down at the jetty, it wasn't a rush thing, everyone went out on time or anything like that. They would sort of make a decision between them because of the structure of the mouth of the river, very narrow, and with a sandbar going across and then a bar going out to sea across to where the Arungal had run adrift. If there was any sort of a sea running, they wouldn't be able to get over that with the sort of motors they had. They had old rugby motors, and they would just chug along 3 to 4 knots, and if there was a set of waves coming, you didn't have many ways out. Not like today, they just plant the foot and away they go. And so quite often they were, just no fishing for days, weeks, weeks on end sometimes when there was big sou'westerlies blowing, and it would get tough on the fishermen then. They'd all get a bit toey because they couldn't feed their families, and often, rabbiting was still very important way of food sourcing for families. We ate a lot of rabbits in our day and absolutely loved them because it was good food. And when the fish were in, obviously we ate a lot of fish. And I often tell the story now how we used to have a cray each on a Sunday when Dad would bring a bag of crays home to distribute and sell to people who would come down on holiday, and what was left we tended to have. And often think of Mum making a curried crayfish dish with cheese on top, and you'd think, gee, you wouldn't do that with a crayfish now. It's $62 a kilo.